Good morning, gentlemen. In our series of discussion on fear and phobia, today we would try and attempt what is phobia, what are different types of phobia, and how can we get over it. As I said, as far as SSP is concerned, the tests are so planned that they try and find out your what we call it complexes. Your complexity means what a distortion your thought, idea, and other aspects of the personality, because it is supposed to be personality test. And we simply, many of us and bulk of us do not even know what personality exactly is. There's several differences between personality, character, and temperament. That is the personality first. Over and above that, we talk in terms of distortion, cognitive distortion, biases, which may be social biases, cognitive biases. Then there are fears and phobia. All these particular things play an important role in passing an SSP. Because if assessors are able to find out what exactly is troubling you, well, they will have to question it and they decide whether you're fit for it or unfit for it. But as I earlier said, we have to work in extreme conditions. You have to operate in the night. And if you've got a phobia of night, well, you're not suitable services in any case. Similarly, you ought to operate in certain heights, maybe high altitude, maybe one, or some structure where you have to know, we have to face encounter in between. So we have to understand what phobia are, and if possible, try and correct it. Secondly, if we know what is the type of phobia, if you are honest to yourself, you would know exactly what is troubling you, then you must take measures to correct it. Okay, right. So having said that, let's go back and talk about the phobia and phobia itself. Okay. Now, as far as the American Psychiatric Association is concerned, phobia is irrational and excessive fear. We did talk about fear, isn't it? Now, excess of fear, and we did talk about different types of fear, from terror to down many other types of fear. We talked about it. Excessive fear of an object or a situation. Object may be a snake. Situation can be of different types. You are going through a jungle, out through on your street, and light have gone off. In most cases, the phobia involves a sense of endangerment or fear of harm. Okay. So symptoms of phobias are you'll feel dizziness, breathlessness, nausea, sense of unreality, fear of dying. So they are the difference. There can be many other symptoms as such. It is said that 20% of population of the world are suffering from phobia. 20%, very high amount. Why high number? However, distressing people can overcome them fully. So you have to be aware of what is the type of phobia you have got. We can inadvertently contribute to creating our phobias. Knowingly or unknowingly, we create a problem for ourselves. Okay. Phobia can be persistent, intense fear of certain objects, people, or places. Human imagination can conjure a fear of just about anything. We think probably a dog which is there, probably it is going to come and bite me. Cats, flying, wind, clouds, blessing, relationship, and so on. So it is our imagination, the phobia can end. So the list of phobia is enormous. So phobia is extremely uncomfortable, but we must understand it can be overcome. Fear resistance runs along a spectrum. It is not one way or pure fear. It's a mixture of emotions. Fear is one of the emotions also, but there will be other emotions also attached. There are 6 basic emotions, and these 6 basic emotions, like primary colors, make all the hues and hues of variety of emotions that we face. To fear is some form of control, also known as obsessive compulsive disorder. That also comes into play. Fearing are solutions. There are many possible triggers for fear. Some that exist within the person, and some imagined outside, others that exist outside them. Some phobia are created in the mind. Why do people blush? You feel that's something you are probably, yeah, you may be handsome, may be beautiful, I do not know, but still you blush. The most beautiful girl will also blush. It is the situation which creates that the environment. Others created by reality, such as fear of snake, tiger, I don't think that is available. However, once created, a phobia can begin to disable people in their life and block them in their work. And personal or intimate relationship can also be harmed. Generally, these particular psychological problems are going to happen in a predictive and redundant manner. Now, normally, a person who's suffering from phobia, attempt to get over it. They call dysfunctional attempt. Why dysfunctional? But it is not going to help them in any case. They would always try and avoid situation which might trigger the fear or the phobia that they encounter. They may ask for help from others and reassurance, but that reassurance is not going to stay permanent in any case. Third is you force to try and yourself, no, I'm not afraid of a snake. And we are trying to go about it. And you try more and more, you try and suppress it. It's like a negative loop. More and more afraid you're going to be. Okay. So all failed attempts to controlling situation lead to an increasing loss of control of their fear. So you become more and more fearful. So how do you find it? It takes several months for these combined attempts to solution to build a rigid psychological problem and put in diagnosable disorder. A person remains in prison every time you're trying to fight and get out of it. Many times, even if you're away from the situation or fearful situation which has created that phobia, you still imagine I'm in that state. As a result, now we allow it to grow further. This is called phobic obsessive reaction. Hence, this cycle of reaction for negativity must be broken if we want to have psychological well-being. Okay. We are all aware, as a person, we always resist change. And most phobic persons are extremely rational people who have got a lot of brain. And they do understand what is wrong with them. By mere avoiding and seeking reassurance is not going to help them. Why? Because involuntary biological and psychological responses and the pressure created by the person do not allow them to get over the phobia. So you have to, in order to find a solution, we got non-ordinary logic. This is what the Gibson talks about it. Even medication, when you go to psychiatrist, he'll give medication. He'll dodge you. You become slightly more stable at that point in time. But it's a chemical clutch, which may reduce the physical anxiety and symptoms initially, but may end up confirming the person's inability to solve the problem themselves. As a result, now, it is not going to help him permanently. Pessoa noted that some people bear the wounds of battle never fought. And the wounds of battle never fought are the hardest ones to heal. That is the level. There are three types of phobia generally in classification. They call social phobia. This is also called social anxiety. Agoraphobia, fear of being trapped in inescapable place or situation. We had a case lady in our society itself. She was trapped in a escalator for an hour or so. As a result, now she got so scared that she finds it difficult to stay in a house which is locked. She will feel scared to go in a car with the windows closed. Then third is called special phobia. There are four major types of special phobia. They call natural environment, fear of lightning, fear of water, storms, etc. Animal, fear of snakes, rodents, spiders. Medical, fear of seeing blood, receiving injection, visiting a doctor. This is all. Situation, fear of bridges, leaving the home, traveling, etc. As a result, now in SSV is concerned, in order to create this, to check your phobia, in TIT, they give a boy walking in a storm. There will be a picture, a boy who's drowning in water. There will be WAT to check back that the word would be blood. For situation, they say is darkness. For animal-like thing, they say, as I say, in SRT, they give when you are in a bathroom, you find a cobra inside the bathroom. So these are all typically planned to check back your reaction to these. As a result, now we must really ensure we understand if you have got any phobia and try and get over it with the help of others. Okay. So the treatment are basically we call it a shaping is one treatment. In army, quite a bit of number of people find it difficult to get over, say, a 9-foot ditch, we call it. It's deep and people find it scared. So what do? Shaping. So okay, don't create at the 9 feet only, along that 9, you create a ditch of say 3 feet, then 5 feet, then 7 feet, then go to 9 feet. So he jumps over 2 feet, he finds okay, confident, go to 4 feet, gets find confident, next to 5 feet, and probably 9 feet. That's called shaping. Or another way is what you call it, exposure. Treatment is flooding, in which the patient is confronted with the fear object for extended length of time. Someone who is scared of lizards, so the plastic lizard is given to him. Look at it, doesn't harm. Then they may take you just near a lizard and from far. Then slowly get near it and that worry, what is there to be scared of? So that is called flooding. One type is flooding, in which patient is confronted by the fear object for an extended length of time without the opportunity. So you can't run away, you have to face that. And once you face it, the scare or the fear goes off. Goal of this method is to help individuals face their fear and realize that the fear object will not harm them, basically. Next is counter conditioning. Patient is taught a new response to the fear object. Rather than panic when faced with the fear object situation, client learns to relax. Or relax, okay, what will happen? Suppose you go anything. Suppose you are going to a jungle and say you find a tiger in front, what worst will happen? Probably a tiger will eat me up. That's the only thing worst is going to happen. If I'm prepared for the worst, probably chances are they still can get out of it. So you have to think of relaxation technique, and rather than having the anxiety and the fear. Okay. Social anxiety is the first one we talked about it. Social anxiety disorder entails a deep fear of others people's judgment, evaluation, and rejection that limits sufferers' enjoyment of life. They won't like to attend a party, they won't like to meet people. They are very happy in their room or their house. Anyway, with the social anxiety may avoid situations in which they will be exposed to scrutiny of others. When you are giving a speech, eating in front of others, meeting new people, engaging in group conversation, because you find your weaknesses are going to be out. You feel you not know right for the occasion. You don't feel confident. Okay, social anxiety can lead to depression, and depression can lead to social anxiety either way, vice versa. People experience social anxiety may endure extreme unhappiness, self-doubt, and even have hopelessness. Okay, which we may ultimately lead to depression. Core feeling of worthlessness, or feeling that one has is undeserving, whether of happiness or of any other people's friendship. So that is what is, so you give up. So now, so this is the second thing. Cognitive behavior therapy may help sufferers. Social situation through limited exposure and questioning the internal stories that lead them to the avoid others can foster confidence, testing predictions that things will go wrong to prove that they are incorrect. It may turn out to, it may go wrong, that's okay. But the chances are it may be right. Learning to create or reward themselves for steps towards socializing, as opposed to criticizing themselves for unrealistic as a postmortem. No, face it. Okay, so they are the ways to get out of social. Now, as far as this is the what you call it, fear of spiders. Therefore, arachnophobia, fear of height, the acrophobia, fear of flying. My own nephew would not and would never fly. He would, even if he has to go from Ranchi to Bangalore, he would prefer a train rather than going by flight, in spite of the inconvenience that he faces. Okay, and which you find needles. Ask any children that they know, because the initial only parent will say, "Tum corona, tumko injection dilwa denge," and she gets scared. So that's one of the way. Now, some of the responses, I have taken only a few of them, which people have given, different students have given response. One should not be afraid of dark. And when he says should, could, it is just a mental state. And there is no guarantee that he will not be scared of the darkness. Again, we should not have fear of darkness. I will left in darkness by, not frightened from darkness, instead fight. He is just trying to, he is trying to take opposite view. That's called, defense mechanism. We should not be afraid of dark. He was afraid of darkness. So all things that. I lack confidence within myself, and I do have stage fear. You are telling me this happens in self-description. I want to improve my oratory skill. I have not participated in debates and declamation. You are telling yourself you are scared of that. Okay. Next, Ram is afraid of dog. She dislikes dog. Hero hits the dog on its head. So they are some of the responses which are there. 10 common phobias are work on. Arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. We've already seen it. Phobia tends to affect women more than men. Then ophidiophobia, fear of snakes, often attributed to emotional causes, personal experience, or cultural influences. You must have seen some people carry the snakes. They are not afraid of it. I'll give you an example of a candidate. Candidate was an excellent candidate around there who had passed. He was passed NCC Part C. He was ambassador to Canada. He was excellent in academics. And over and that, he had good hobbies and good sports person. And as a hobby, snake keeping was his hobby. That was, and mind you, this gentleman was totally afraid of snake itself. And he's trying to show that he's not at all afraid of snakes. And ultimately, the gentleman had to be rejected. Fear of height, as I already talked about in the early one, GQ tests the fear of heights in 3-4 individual tasks that we have already talked in last video. Agoraphobia, fear of situation. In the escape, it's difficult. I'd say you get stuck in the lift. What it is. Then fear of dogs, cyanophobia, astrophobia, fear of thunders and lightning. Tyrannophobia, the fear of injection. Social phobia, we have already talked about situation. And pitromerhanophobia, fear of flying. Mysophobia, fear of jumps. So there are hundreds of phobia, gentlemen. And we have already talked, there are hundreds of diagnoses, there are hundreds of phobia we can go to, and this, you can find this, I have given this particular presentation in the slide share. You can go and send the hundreds of, you can see around the hundreds of where. Okay, having seen this list, aim of this video is only to educate that phobia can be overcome. First, we must understand ourselves. What is troubling us? We must find ways and means to get over that problem that is facing us. Passing or failing in SSV is a separate issue by itself. What is important? That we must improve or get over the problems that we are facing day to day, which is hindering my performance many a times. I hope this particular video is going to help you in getting over some of the fears and phobia that you had. Do recommend. If you like it, do share it and or subscribe. This will help others to get over their problem. Thank you.